What is going on, guys? Now, I promised a few people on stream that I would do this. I have not actually done a tier list before, although I did one where I, kept Uller right there as a little bit of a joke. But some people, like, I was in queue and I was bored, and I was like, what should we do, guys? And then I was like, should I make a tier list? People were like, hell yeah, you should do that. So I think today I'm going to be making a tier list. This video is probably going to be a little long because I'm probably going to just gradually go over every god one by one. Just casually say what I think. Now, remember this. I'm not the best person when it comes to really having a tier list in Duel. Like, I'm good with certain gods, which is pretty much it. So I'm really like I know a lot about certain gods and their counter matchups or different matchups compared to like a single god. But when it comes to like lower tier gods and stuff like that, I'm trying to learn experience from it by playing on my Super Saiyan account, but I'm not as knowledgeable as someone as for say and Shadow when it comes to the lower tiers and playing them because I'm not used to playing them at all. And Shadow's really good with them. But I thought, you know what, I might as well make my own tier list based off of my opinions. So remember that this is just whatever, comes to my mind. Don't take this too seriously. This is just out of my personal opinion. So anyways, let's get started. So we're going to consider SS. I mean, I don't think there's any gods that are really an SS, but like S plus would be like, top of the line, top tier. Very, very, very top tier. So we're going to start off with those. We'll go over the basics. You got your... Okay, I can't actually drag this. We got your Moose and Cab. You got your Apollo, most ADCs. You got like Freya. Can you put in, like, is there like a middle thing? There's no like S and a half. Okay. Uh, I consider Freya in between S plus and S right now because like the Thorns is just so fucking strong versus Freya to the point where like I've almost been beaten by Guan Yu's. I know it's Matrix, but still, still I feel as if Thorns are just very good versus Freya for some reason. And it just kind of destroys her. But, once Freya gets late game, it doesn't really matter. She's really, really, really stupid. So, I mean, I guess I can still consider her S+. She's still obviously very, very, very good. Especially if we get ahead. We'll start with some other gods, like Susanoo. Probably consider him, I'd say, like, A+. Like, well, okay. A+ would be, like, okay, you know what? How about this? Alright, so this is how my tier list is going to work. S plus is top tier, top tier, top tier, top tier. Like, very best of the best right now. This is just like best of the best, but there's a few counter things, like maybe certain matchups that make them not as viable. These ones are like, I'd say the strongest ones. And then S minus would be, top of the line, but they have a lot of counter matchups. They're usually really good, but they have a lot of counter matchups and stuff like that, and are beaten by a lot of other top tiers and stuff like that. Consider Hui in the same spot. He's not as good as he used to be, at least I find. Thanatos, I'd probably put in like A. I'm just going over some gods that I really play. Kali, in my opinion, is probably the best god in Duel. That's just based on my opinion, but I feel as if Kali is just ridiculously strong in this game mode. Just everything about her kit, and if you can play her well enough, like, she's like one of the gods where I would play and I wouldn't plan on losing. The only time I ever lose on Kali is if it's a Kali mirror, and that's like on very, very off chances. Basically, if you go Blink as Kali, I want you to think about this. If you can play well enough and get late game as Kali, there is not a single god in this game that can beat you. I don't even, well, other than maybe Freya if she can outbox you, but usually, you can ban her. So I considered Kali like to be like above and beyond. You guys have always known that I consider her like that because if you go Blink, especially versus the top tier gods like other than Apollo, you go Blink and you stun them and you do your combo, right? And especially with Titan's Bane, they'll be chunked down like hell, and they'll have to use their escape to get out, right? But you still have your jump. And with Fatalis, if they're a ranged god, you can still just stick to them. So like a good chunk of the time, there's very little you can do versus a Kali if you get late game, and that's why I consider her so good. But there are those off matchups, like I'd say Uller, Apollo, Freya. They can do some things against her, but all around, I feel as if she's the strongest. That's just my opinion, though. I feel as if Kali, like, because I've always just played so much Kali, man. So in my opinion, she's really, really, really good. Hunbats I consider S minus. Actually, I'd probably put him in the same boat as Susanoo. He's probably around there. The only problem with Hunbats is that the second they get whatever the fuck that thing is that gives you crowd control every time you're hit with crowd control for 70 seconds. I don't know, I don't build in enough. Mage's Blessing. Yeah. Second they build that is not very good. Hell, probably A minus, just because, you know, her heals. The second, she can't heal off of her 1 when she hits an opponent. She can only heal off her 3, and the second they get beat stick or something, your damage output just isn't enough to really do, like, anything. Chiron, probably A plus, same thing. I mean, he's an ADC. ADCs are ADCs. He can do damage with them, but he's got a lot of abilities, and his ult isn't the best for duel. Baksuro's S plus, obviously. Ares, I guess, is SS, because I mean, Ares can't do anything early game. If he gets late, yeah, maybe, but I still consider him, you know, bottom tier. You know, I'll consider him a tier above, because if he gets late game, he can actually do something against some gods. Camazotz. Camazotz. I would probably put Camazotz in S minus, because if you're good enough and you're lucky enough, like, Camazotz is like the snowball god in my opinion. I consider him like a tier above maybe like Hunbats and Susanoo, but at the same time, like there's other gods, like, you know, the top tier ones that just automatically destroy him. But if you snowball against any of them, a Camazotz that's like a level or 2 ahead and has, like, you know, is a step ahead of you in protections or percentage pen is scary, especially like before your late game. You get late game, yeah, you have like Frost Alice or whatever you want to build, and you have like anti-heal and stuff like that. You get there, it's good and stuff like that. But if the Camazotz gets ahead, it's scary shit. I remember I abused the shit out of that at the end of last season. Erlang Shen, I'd probably put him in the same boat, mainly because he's countered very hard by a lot of these top tier gods. On her, I don't know if I consider on her as good as the top tiers right now. For some reason, I feel as if he's just... Yeah, I actually like keeping there. I mean, he is like the typical ADC. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I've been struggling on her recently. I don't know why. Medusa. Probably keep her up there in S plus as well. Anubis. Probably like A plus, somewhere around there. Oh shit, because he's okay, but he's no mobility. You get Thorns, you get an Aegis. There's not much an Anubis can do, especially if you're playing a decent tier god. Oh Kwong, probably like A minus, maybe B. The thing is about Ao Kwong is that he's not as bad as some people think. Like, he's horrible, but you have like he's horrible when it comes to lane clear and stuff like that. So you have to ban like top ADCs. But Pakasura, Ao Kwong is actually surprisingly decent versus a lot of melee range gods, which is surprising. Like, he's decent versus most melee range gods because they come near him. You can't box him if you're close enough to try and hit your abilities. You can dash away, use your your 2. You have your ult, which forces a beads, all that yada yada yada, which is okay. But if you're playing against a ranged god, it's not good at all. So like I said, a lot of these gods, there's like matchups and matchups and matchups for days. Like, there's tons of different matchups. You can skip to the end of this, by the way, if you're just watching. If you're not curious about my opinions, you just want to see what I think, where things are. Agni's probably A. Nemesis, she's okay, but she's not as good as she ever was. She was really good at a time. Now she got nerfed, and even though she can dash between it, I feel as if she's not that great. Neith, I feel as if people don't see the potential in her enough. Maybe just that's just because I like Neith and I like her styling and her auto attack backflip. Yeah, I feel as if she's like S minus probably. We're just gonna get some of the guardians out of the way here, like Xingqian, Sobek, and Snowball opened my door. Obviously. Awesome. Wow, not even 2 seconds into this video. Sorry about the guys, I'm super professional. It's actually my dog, so whatever. More gods. X-Ball. I consider X-Ball probably like maybe A. No, I consider him A. Like, he just doesn't have enough. Like, his autos don't do enough at all. They just don't do anything, I find. And like, his clear is not really reliable. like hitting his 2. I just literally closed it. My god, dude, I hate animals. Like, it's like a zoo in my house. I apologize for that. That was really unprofessional, but I don't want to restart this recording. It sounds like that's like a lot of work. A lot of explaining. Ravana will go probably like A plus maybe. Probably in the same boat. A lot of warriors are actually a lot more decent than people think. Tier, kind of ass in my opinion. Sylvanas is obviously ass. Zonqui I consider up here because I've been beaten by a number of Zonquis who go gem, and there's really nothing you can do against it. Absolutely nothing. Hebo, yeah, you know where he is. Bologna, probably consider in the same place as most. This S- range where she can, you know, do well. She can strive in certain matchups, but others she's just absolutely ass. Wukong, maybe like A+. A lot of warriors I feel as if are going into A+. The triple defense and stuff like that. I'm not really aware of Nike, of how she works. I only played against one. But I feel as if she doesn't have enough to bring to the table. Probably give her like an A. Keep her an A. Hercules, in between A+ and S- probably. Probably going closer to the, I don't know. Probably S- in this meta. She'll regrow all that stuff, and these are too reliable on crits. Rama. Okay, I got the hiccups. This is really happening right now. Rama. Probably between S and S-, honestly. Probably closer to S-. Like, he's good and stuff like that. His clear is really nice in the early game. He can outbox people pretty well. He does very well versus people like Scotty, which I'm also going to keep an S+, because Scotty's just fucking bullshit, and you know it. But then there's other matchups, like all the other guys just have so much more. Like, he's just got, like, what, a steroid and a slow in his kit. Uller's got, like, a stun, like, a ton of abilities. Like, Apollo's got a mez, a dash, a global ult. Damage. Honor's got like an impale, like an ult, a slow, a jump. Like, just got so much compared to him, in my opinion. Alright, Loki. Probably consider Loki like S. Because, in my opinion, like, playing against Lokis is just like a waiting game until they get late game and they just burst you down. Like, yeah, you can go Thorns and stuff, but you don't react quick enough. And if they go Sunder and they use it properly and they play around their burst, it's fucking annoying, and there's very little you can do against it a lot of the time. Even if, like, I've had games where I've gone like 7-0. I remember one game I was playing Susanoo, and I went 11. I think it was 11-0, half 22-0, like almost the sequel to that shit. And I ended up losing to a Loki who got late game because I couldn't do anything. Even though I dodged like 3 of his ults, I still ended up losing the second we got late game because I couldn't actually get his Phoenix, because, you know, they can just continue to press their 2. And especially as a melee range god, there's nothing you can do. So it's very frustrating. Fafnir, I consider him probably like a tier above the rest of the warriors, or the guardians. Not like, I'm talking like, not like as high as these ones, but it depends though. He's got like certain matchups. Like, Fafnir strives versus ability-based gods, like Susanoo, Thanatos, Camazot's probably, because, you know, he's HP. Like, the more HP you have and the more protections you have is a lot better versus ability-based gods, so I guess he strives in certain matchups like that. Wheelix, I'm not very good with, but I probably consider her like A+, the same boat as the whole Hunbat Susanoo sort of thing. Upwash probably A-. He's pretty decent with gem, but other than that, he's kind of doo-doo. I mean, Amaterasu, I consider her in the same boat as like Nike and stuff, just because she's so counterable. Like, all you have to do is just ult. She has like a lot, like, or just jump. If you have a jump or a dash or something, like, her ult is like not even that good. But it really depends. She's also got a silence and or whatever, as well as her 2. Yeah, she's actually a little better than I realized. Maybe between like A and A+. I don't know. I feel as if she's, just because she's a warrior and she's more auto attack oriented, she doesn't have like a steroid thing like Erlang in a way. Yeah, I'd probably consider her right there, in between A and A plus, most likely. Aphrodite, same boat. I feel as if she just doesn't have enough. Her heal's really annoying, but you get anti-heal. She go a lot of HP. Certain matchups she thrives, but I feel as if she just doesn't do enough, honestly. Arachne, probably in the same boat here. She can do pretty well versus some ADCs, but and most like close range gods, like you'd be surprised, like she actually does a number to Kali and stuff like that, like melee range gods. But Frost Stylus, man, is just so dominant in this meta. Mercury's probably A, just as bad. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna keep Thanatos up in A plus now that I think about it. Maybe it's just because I like Thanatos and I play him so much, but maybe because of Shield of Regrowth and the cooldowns and stuff. As well as Thunder Thorns, it makes him a little more viable than I realized. Like, now that I see who's in the A tier, I don't think I consider Thanatos that low. Like, Thanatos can, you know, do a number versus the gods that are in A+. So, I'd consider him probably A+, yeah. My bad. Change that up. Cyrus probably S-. He has his matchups, like I said. He does well versus others, but there's also, you know, the higher tiers that just shit on him, especially when they get Frost Stylus. But you never know. Late game's always a thing. Poseidon. Gem Talus is a thing. But I feel as if he's kind of fallen off. He used to be really, really, really top tier, but now people just kind of... I don't know, I just don't see very many Poseidons at all, and when I do, they don't seem to do very well, like in this meta. I don't know what's going on, but he's probably, like, now that I think about it, I don't really see him that much at all. Like, he does okay, but I guess other gods just destroy him too much right now. I guess Frost Alice is just too dominant, or something to do with the meta. Artemis, I'd consider S-. Artemis is a funky one, though, because she actually does very good in specific matchups. Artemis is one of the few gods that I've ever actually lost as Kali to, because, you know, the traps on traps, it's one of the most frustrating things in the world, especially if she gets lucky with RNG. She's too, like, RNG based, in my opinion. But she also has, like, you know, her CC, she has her, you know, her movement speed steroid, which makes her okay, but and at the same time makes her a little worse than other gods, just because she only has a movement speed steroid. It's kind of like AMC, but AMC has other things. But the thing about Artemis is she had, like, her traps and her ult combo is just so much burst, especially if you can get late game and hit it off and they don't have beads or something, and just combo with the trap. Like, if you trap someone, you can ult, right? And they'll get hit with the ult after the trap runs out, and then you can just trap them again. And do you know how many autos you can throw between that? Hell of a lot more than you need. So yeah, there's that. Athena, I probably consider her A. Probably around there. Maybe, actually, probably on the same level as Fafnir. Maybe A. Between, like, A- and A. Probably, because people just kind of underestimate Athena, in my opinion. Feels like she's actually a lot better than you realize if you build the right amount of defense. Poly, Soul Reaver, etc. Kazembo is tired. Vulcan. I feel as if Vulcan's kind. I don't know. I probably consider him between A+ and S-. I feel as if Vulcan's kind of just fallen off. Probably closer to S-. For some reason, I just feel as if he's fallen off. Like, all these gods that I'm now thinking of, like, when I play against them, they don't just seem to do as well as, you know, other top tiers, I guess, because of this meta. Frost Alice and stuff like that. Zanami probably S-. She's pretty decent. Actually, no, I think I'd keep her in S-. Like, she's decent. She got pretty good clear. Her ult's pretty nice, but the main bad thing about her, she has all these good things, but her dash is just, it's got wind up time, and it's very easy to hit her before she, like, when she locks herself in place. So that makes her a little less reliable. Isis, probably consider her A-, as well as people like, probably Janus would be like B, even lower. Maybe actually keep them in. I'm just trying to think about if I was to put up against gods that are in the same category against each other, how well they do. Vamana, probably A+ actually. Ymir, probably A- with the other guardians there. Zeus, probably between A and A-. I'm just, like, it's just going off the top of my head of where I feel as if they'd be if they're matched up, you know, against other gods in their tiers, or, you know, higher tiers, where I should place them. Thor, I consider him like a step below Susanoo and Hunbats and stuff like that. And just because he's a little less reliable, his one really mobility ability other than his global ult that takes forever to charge, which is very shit. I mean, if you get it off, it's nice, but, you know, going up in the air takes a little while at some times, so it's not very reliable for getting away or peeling or anything. Baka's same boat as Fafnir in them. Bastet, probably A. I consider her a little less, not as good as, little Hunbats and Susanoo tier, in my opinion. I've played her quite a few of Bastets this season. Like, last season they used to be a little more dominant, but I think it's the backdoor protection thing that made her just feel a lot worse. Nuaz in B, Terra's in C, Soul, I'd probably consider her A-. I just don't see her anywhere, and I feel as if she's ass, especially with the removal of the in-hand thing. Ratatoskr, probably like a tier below the whole assassin category, the main assassin category. Odin, probably A- around there. That's where I feel as if he's probably good. You know, really no point in explaining a lot of these lower tiers because it's pretty obvious why. Serket, probably in the same boat as A+. A lot of the A+ gods have very specific matchups where they can get pretty lucky and strive off of them. A lot of gods have that, but A+ seem to have a lot of them. As well as S-, I guess. I should really be putting the Guardians in here. Maybe Combo would be in B. Combo's actually not that bad. He's got decent clear. You know, he's got a decent ult. He's got a mez. He's a little bit better. Still ass, though. Kukulkan. Probably between A- and A+. I feel as if just because he can clear so well from a distance, and if he gets a gem, you know, he can continue to spam his ult, and there's a good chance he'll hit it if he can burst you down properly, but Frost Alice is also a thing, so most high-tier gods just destroy him. Morgan's probably between A- and B, around there. Like, she does quite a bit of damage, but just relying on her ult constantly is just no fun at all. Like, if she goes up against anyone that's a decent tier, even if she can transform to them and turn the same level, oh my god, I don't feel as if she's reliable enough. Thoth, oh, B. He's got decent clear, but I feel as if he's just ass in Duel. Like, he's just not playable. A lot of lower tier mages are not playable. I put Scylla in the same boat. I find Scylla would be, like, burst mage gods, like, other than, like, Hebo, who has 3 ultimates, tend to not do well at all in Duel. I don't know why. Actually, I do, mainly because even though they can clear a wave, they have to use their clear on the wave. They do a lot of damage to you, but if you miss one thing, or if it isn't enough, then your enemy can just either, there's like a ton of things that could happen. They could just lifesteal, they could burst you down quickly, they could just juke you, and you're just absolutely screwed. Like, you're just, if you're caught out of position once, it's just impossible. Like, you can't play anyone, like any of these, and think of standing a chance against a decent tier god. I got all in my experience that I've even tried playing. Bracken's probably in the same boat as the whole Kukulkan and Morgan situation. He does a surprising amount of damage. He can actually do pretty well. Actually, you know what? I consider him... His burst is surprising. He's probably one of the best Guardians in Duel. His burst is just ridiculously surprising sometimes. If you can combo with him properly, use his ult 1 in his passive, like in the right way, you can actually do a number, especially to melee gods, I think. Probably be the best options for him, you know, because melee gods tend to not do very well versus ranged gods. Guan Yu, probably A+. I played him a little bit. I've been playing against Matrix, who's very good at warriors, and he's shown me the light of how good warriors can actually be. Probably chalk would be between A and A+. I think people just don't see the potential in warriors. I see it now, but before I didn't. Xingwei in A, she can come back to lane very quickly, but her ult isn't the greatest. Her steroids, okay. She has to go through her stupid little air thing to even get her attack speed buff. Her clear isn't the best in the world. So yeah, I'd probably consider her there, even though she can come back very quickly, which is okay. I mean, Cernunnos is not going to be ranked. If I were to rank him, I'd probably consider him S. Like, right below the top tiers. Maybe top tier. I don't know. I just feel as if they're probably going to nerf him. In his current state, I feel as if he could probably beat a lot of the top tiers. That's only if he kept up with them. Like, if someone snowballed against Cernunnos, there's, like, nothing he could do from behind. At least I find. I don't know. I haven't played the god enough, honestly. So I don't trust my opinion on that. Chang'e, S. I can't believe I didn't even see her. Kronos, probably an A+. You know, pretty decent. But, you know, removal of the in-hand, it's horrible. Chang'e is obviously an S. Like, no real reason to question it. Cupid, between A and A+, probably. Like, he's okay, but every other ADC and most other gods tend to just dumpster him. That are even somewhat of a decent tier. Fenrir, probably in the same boat. Probably in between as well, like just like Cupid, just in between. He has like a lot of decent matchups. But, you know, like, what can I say? I mean, if you play Fenrir, like, it's pretty much the same thing for each god that I'm trying to explain, but, like, you gotta realize that this is off my opinion of from playing just constant duels of top-tier gods and comparing, you know, the few times that I've played against these gods and how they've went up against them. Like, imagine if you're Fenrir and you queue into any of these gods, any of the top tier. Do you honestly think you're gonna win if the person has somewhat of a clue what they're doing and builds a Fatalis or something? Like, Apollo could just mez you. Bakasura could box you like it's nothing, even if you stun him. All these gods can just keep their distance from you, and there's nothing you can do. That's just half the assassin life, you know? Hades, I don't know, I feel as if he might be A+. I feel as if he's underestimated, but, okay, you know what, let's put him between. Same boat for Fenrir and Cupid. Raijin, he's not A, actually, he's B. We're putting him in B. Ra is probably between A- and B. Maybe just A-, actually. Like, his heal is okay, but, you know, it's not really reliable as ult. Yada, yada, yada. And we did it. Look at this, boys. Well, we officially have done it. This is my tier list on Duel. This is what I've decided. Remember, like I said for the 1000th time, this is exactly what I think based off of the matchups that I've played on, you know, lower tiers as well as the higher tiers that I'm more experienced on, and comparing them and putting them in a place where I feel as if they're like equal, or, you know, they can maneuver around the meta depending on the matchup. So anyways, let me know your opinions and thoughts on this. I'm curious. Like I said, this isn't probably the most reliable thing. It's just my opinion from what I've been through in this meta. So if you have anything you want to discuss or any questions for me, just let me know in the comments. We'll have a little discussion. Maybe I'll change my mind about some things, maybe move things around. But anyways, here you go. There is my tier list. If you guys enjoyed watching, please leave me a like. New to the channel, subscribe. Think you're going to play? Okay, this isn't a duel. Too used to the normal intro. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you next time, guys. Have a good one. I'm just kidding. No, he's still back here. Back. I love you, Uller, but oh fuck, what's going on? Okay, goodbye, guys. You guys know what the tier list is. Bye.